Good afternoon. My name is Reverend Dr. Ron Fox, and I am the Senior Minister for the Center for Spiritual Living Space Coast. It's Monday afternoon. Yesterday, when we did the service, the technical pieces didn't work, so we couldn't do the video. So I'm doing the message again today, so we can post it, and all of you who come and watch it every week will be able to do that. The topic is living a conscious life. And I want to begin with one of my favorite quotes from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who was a modern day mystic, a fighter for civil rights, and just an absolutely wonderful person. And he wrote, "In the eyes of the world, I am average, but in my own heart, I'm of great moment. The challenge I face is how to actualize, how to concretize the quiet eminence of my own being." I love that quote. He's saying people on the outside may not see who I am. They might see only the average Joe, but in my heart, I know that I'm here to do something. I have a gift to use it and to do it, to actualize it, to concretize it. You know, you and I, we're unique. There's never been another one like us, and there never will be another one like us. And the gifts we have to give, if we don't give them, if we don't concretize and actualize them, the world is poorer because nobody else can do it. You know, I'm not saying that we're all going to be the heavyweight champ of the world or the president of the United States or a Nobel laureate. It's being who we were meant to be in the role we play. How many times have we heard somebody say, when I was a youngster, a teacher changed my life, or my coach changed my life? The other day, I was bringing one of our machines in to be fixed. And as I was waiting, a lady walked in with a 3-year-old, and we started to talk. And she told me she had 9 children. And I said, 9? And she said 9. And she went on to talk about how she loves her children. And she said, you know, I'd have more if I could. And as we spoke, I was sitting in the presence of a great mother. And isn't that actualizing and concretizing the gift that she gives to her children? She said, you know, I homeschool them because I miss them when they go to school. You know, Ernest Holmes said we can't blame somebody else if our life isn't turning out the way we want. We need to take responsibility. And he also tells us that that desire, that feeling that Joshua Heschel spoke about, he said that's God expressing through us, and God is always with us. So I want to tell you a story. Rachel Remen writes in her book, My Grandfather's Blessing, that she had a dream one night. And the dream was that a daffodil was planted in the soil and a big heavy rock was lying on top of it so it couldn't bloom. And when she woke up, she remembered the dream, but she couldn't figure out in her mind what the dream meant, what it was about. And she thought about it for weeks. And after a few weeks, she told a friend. And the friend said to her, well, maybe the rock and the daffodil are having a conversation. Why don't you listen in? And I'm not sure what she did to come to this, but she wrote that she did listen in to the conversation. And this is what she heard. The rock was saying to the bulb, the world is difficult. It's tough. Don't bloom. I'll keep you safe. And the bulb said back to the rock, but I have to bloom. Blooming is what I came here to do. And I think the message I want to give to you is don't ever stop from blooming. only you could live that life that you're called to bloom with. And we need to let it come forth. So no matter who's telling you, and a lot of times people tell you not to bloom and they mean it from a good place in their heart, but it's your job to bloom. There's a Hebrew story about Rabbi Zusha, and he's lying on his deathbed and he's crying. And one of his students comes to him and says, Rabbi, are you afraid to die? Do you think on the other side they're going to ask you why you weren't Moses? And through his tears, the rabbi says, no, I'm worried that they're going to ask me, why weren't you Zusha? We're called to ask ourselves some deep questions like, who am I? And what is the meaning of my life? And a different rabbi kind of puts it in a really cute way when he prays to God and he says, dear God, I'm not going to ask you why you created the world or why good people suffer and bad people prosper. But God, tell me, what am I doing in this world of yours? The poet Guillaume Apolloni, I know I'm not saying that right, but he was a poet who was born in, I think, 1880 and died, I know, in 1918. And I want to read, Apollinaire. I want to read something to you that he wrote. Come to the edge, he said. We're scared. We can't come. Come to the edge, but we might fall. Come to the edge. So they came, and he pushed them, and they flew. You know, I think what he's telling us is that sometimes it's risky and it's scary to plow new fields, to move beyond our comfort zone. But when we do, we find that we have a strength and a power that we never realized. And why is that? It's because of the quote I read from Ernest Holmes, that God, Spirit, is always with us. You know, on some level, we become what we think. And if we don't think well of ourselves, if we don't love ourselves, we wind up living with other people's labels that they put on us. We live with the labels other people put on us. That means we're accepting their view of us rather than us coming forth and putting forth who we are. You know, Ernest Holmes says that meditating for an hour a day won't save you from the chaos of the world, but 51% of your thinking will. So I think I mentioned before that Becky and I are going to be, Becky, by the way, for those of you who might not know, is my wife, who's an artist you'll see in a little bit, and a practitioner emeritus. Well, we took a course from the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and we'll be announcing soon, we're going to be teaching a class on conscious aging. And I'm going to talk to you about a book. It's not part of that class, but it's one we read to supplement our knowledge on conscious aging. And the title of the book is, Who Do You Want to Be When You Grow Old? And the authors say that sometimes when we age, we have regrets. We think about what we didn't accomplish. And we might ask questions like, is this all I'll ever be? Wasn't I meant to be somebody? You know, when we were young, we were busy with life. How many of us were busy earning a living, developing a career, having a spouse, children, carpools, soccer games, little league games, PTA meetings. So thinking about our purpose, that wasn't at the top of our mind. But now, as we age, the question, who am I, becomes more central in our life. You know, our roles as parent, as teacher, as spouse, as friend. They're really important roles, but they're not our purpose. Our purpose is a mindset. It's to grow continually, to make a difference. The authors say it's who we bring to what we do. I love that. It's who we bring to what we do. And the authors talk about living a default life. What's a default life? A default life is not being authentic. It's not living our own choosing. And how do we end a default life? What can we do to not live that life? The answer is really simple. Be yourself. Be yourself. Don't be dependent on anybody else's approval. Choose to be your own person. Dennis Merritt Jones is a CSL minister and a wonderful writer and author. And in one of his books, he says that we each hold the key that sets us free. And he says it's choice, that we make choices every day. And Ernest Holmes says we make choices every moment, every minute, every second. And one of the things we can do is we can cease saying, I can't. Instead, we can say, I choose not to. And what is the difference? The difference is when we say I can't, we're in victim mode. When we say I choose not to, we're stepping into our power. Let me give you an example. So Sir Gawain was a knight of the Round Table, and he agrees to marry Ragnall, who, as described, is a hideous, ugly hag. And he agrees to do it because she has a secret. And if he says, I'll marry you if you tell the king the secret to saving his life. She does, they get married, and people pity Sir Gawain. On the night they're married, they go up to the bedchambers, and Ragnall says to him, I need to go change into something more comfortable. When she comes out, he sees the most beautiful woman he has ever seen, by far the prettiest woman in all of the kingdom. And he says to her, where's my wife? And she says, that's me. I had a curse put on me. And now, Sir Gawain, you have a choice. The choice is, I can be beautiful at night for your pleasure and ugly in the day, and people will pity you. Or I could be beautiful in the day and ugly at night, and you won't have that pleasure. And she says, you decide. And he responds to her. He says, it's not for me to choose. I want you to be who you want to be. It's your choice. In effect, he gives her back her power. He doesn't decide her life for her. He says, in effect, you're the powerful one. It's your life. Make the choice and step into your power. And when he does that, the curse is totally lifted, and she remains beautiful all the time. So before I close, I want to give you 5 things you can do to begin stepping out of living a default life. The first thing you can do is you can ask questions. And I've given you some. Who am I? What am I doing here? What's my life about? What's my purpose? And if anybody out there wants more questions, call me, text me, email me, and we can work together to come up with more. The second thing we could do is know when you step out and plow new fields, you're going to feel uncomfortable. But just know there's a power and a strength within you, and you can move beyond that fear. And remember, God is always with you. The creator of all that is willing to work, willing, able, and wants to work with you. Third thing, you can know that others are going to react when they see you stepping out. Just bless them and keep on your path. And one of the things that I have found in my life is that the people that sometimes react, they see you living and doing the life that you want to do, and they feel, I'm not sure, inadequate, whatever it is, and so they react to you. Just bless them, forgive them, and go on your own way. The fourth thing you can do is start by taking small steps. Every small success builds on each other and more and more. And as you gain confidence, you can take bigger steps. And lastly, just remember you're doing exactly what you came here to do, and that you are the creator of your own experience. One last thing. We need to take off the masks. We need to be real and live a real life. Remember, life isn't a Halloween party. I am going to close in a very unique way. I am married to an incredible woman. She's, I said before, a practitioner emeritus. She's an artist. She's beautiful. She's been my life companion, my wife, for the last 31 years. I don't remember how many years ago it was, maybe 15 or 20 years ago. My wife, Becky, did a series of drawings in colored pencil depicting life with somebody taking masks off and putting them on. I had never written a poem in my life. When I saw the 5 drawings, I sat down and I wrote 5 poems, one for each drawing. And so how we're going, I am going to end this service. Becky is coming up, and Becky's going to hold each picture up. And as she holds the picture up, I'm going to read what I wrote. So it's titled, her artwork and my poem are called The Mask. And here's picture 1. The universe is mine, and I belong to it. Life gives to me what I put forth each day. I make the choice to give all that I have to give. I drop my mask and trust the voice within. Today, I see the God in you and me. Without my mask, I clearly see the truth. I know that love is all there is. I reach for all the gifts that Spirit sends my way. With gratitude and love, I simply say, thanks be to God for all I have this day. Here comes picture 2, and we see a picture of a young babe. And here's what I wrote. I came into this world a pure and loving soul. God's gifts were mine to love and to behold. I loved all that I touched, felt, smelled, and held. Sheer joy was what I thought life was about. I noticed not that fear gripped some. Mine was a life of pure delight. I gave my heart to each one that I met. Race, sex, or color mattered not. The smiles I gave came back to me tenfold. For me, the universe was one big friend. It was all God from end to end. Here's picture 3, where the person is having some difficulties. I am a child no more, and life is not the dream it was. I wear a mask now every day. I hide the real me from the world. It's best that way. I can't be hurt again. My heart is hard, my eyes are cold. The world looks better with them closed. What happened to the promise I once knew? A life of joy and love and fun. It's gone, and in its place a mask I wear. It makes me sad to see where I have come. They say deep down the spark still glows. It never dies, I've heard it said. Just drop the mask and look inside. I will tomorrow. Here we go. Person's found love. They've gone beyond what I just read. And now the wonder has come back. Pure joy, a life fulfilled. I've known the answer all along. I drop the mask. I open up to you and you to me. It's life, it's love, it's ecstasy. We lift each other to the sky, each giving what they have to give, each getting what they need. The God within shines from our eyes. We need no mask. We live no lies. We can't go back to life alone. We found the truth right here within our home. One God, one life, two souls, one goal. And here's the last picture, and the person's time is counting down. And now this life is drawing to a close. The masks are long since gone. What have I learned, you ask? I've learned that God is all there is. We struggle so with each day, we rarely stop to see the gift we have. I see the sun, the moon, the stars, the sky. I kiss a friend, I laugh, I cry. It's funny, after all these years, I've come to see that all along, the child in me was right. God's gifts are mine to love and to behold. And so to you, my friend, I say, relax, enjoy, throw all the masks away, give life a chance to work through you, and always know, day in and day out, it's all inside. No need to try and look without. I hope you've enjoyed this message. Godspeed, God bless, and we'll see you again soon.